Moeilik om vir 'n ou hond nuwe triks te leer. Right, so chapter 32, safety considerations. Now, the human body is made out of liquid and salt and all of those things, and that all of that together conducts electricity, and approximately 20 milliamps flowing through your body can disrupt your heart. And like I said on Saturday, you never know when or which time is the last time. So be very careful. Have a healthy respect for electricity. Okay, skerm. That means that I must do this. Jammer julle, sorry. Okay, then the mains power supply in South Africa is 240 volts. Let me just say this. RF exposure has been identified to increase the risk of various cancers. So that's why you don't want RF energy in your shack. And that's why you put loops in your antenna filters and things to keep the RF out. And whenever you work on a radio, you use dummy loads to reduce the exposure as far as possible so that you don't expose yourself to unnecessary RF radiation. Like I said, mains power, main supply, that's now the plug in the wall, is 240 volts and at 50 hertz. Um, if you touch one of those contacts, now the neutral is actually a little bit misleading because if you measure between live and earth and neutral and earth, you'll in both cases get 240 volts. So the neutral wire is just as dangerous as the live wire. So don't think that if you touched a neutral wire, you would necessarily get away with it. You'll also get a surprise. Now, in most cases, when you touch that, you form a 90% of the time, you're going to be working on electrical wires and you're going to touch it with your hand and you're going to stand with your feet on the ground. So that's the most dangerous situation. So it passes through your body, past your heart, and into the ground, and then sometimes it takes you with. So don't don't do stupid things. Make sure the power is off. Now, when I did my training back in the day with electricity, because electricity was one of our subjects, you have a when you work on an electrical installation, you actually hang a board at the DB box so that people cannot, that they can see that the power has been switched off for a reason. And in some cases, you can actually put somebody there, like a security, to stand there and make sure that nobody switches the electricity back on while you are busy with your repair or whatever you busy doing. Um, best thing is to switch it off. Switch it all off. Unplug it. Don't leave it plugged in because your power point in the house switches only the live wire. The neutral is still connected. So if you touch the neutral wire, even if the plug is switched off, it's going to still give you a shock. So when you work on something, unplug it. Your radio does not have to, or with all, at least the power supply does not have to be plugged in when you test the mains side of the power supply, because you can measure continuity with a plug plugged out, and you're going to get the same result uh, uh, or same answers you would have gotten with the thing plugged in measuring voltage. You just measure continuity. If there's continuity to the transformer, the power is there. You know what you need to know. After the transformer, I did explain transformers. So after the power supply should be double insulated. So what that means is that the one coil is around one side. It is insulated from the core, and the other winding is also insulated from the core. So they call it double insulation. And it's usually two squares within each other. And most pieces of equipment should have that little emblem at the back by the power cable. So if you see a small square with a bigger square around it, that means it's double insulated. So most of your audio equipment is like that because people always touch the volume control and so forth. Insulated wire, when you, but you know, it's almost common sense is that if you gonna draw high current, you need to use appropriate wire. If you're gonna use high voltages, you need to use appropriate wire. Now, most decent quality wire has got a voltage rating printed on it. It will tell you this insulation is rated to 300 volts with about 3 amps, and it's usually rated per meter. So, in other words, if you're going to draw, so don't go and buy thin speaker flex to run your electric lawnmower. It's not going to work well. It's going to end bad for the lawnmower because it's going to be underpowered and then it's going to burn the motor. Same with the weed eater, same story. Don't you use the appropriate wire, and all wires that is worth its salt has got a rating on it. Other thing is your earth leakage. How it works is it measures the amount of current coming in compared to the amount of current going out. If there's an imbalance in the circuit breaker or in the earth leakage, it will trip. But it's important that the power does not go through you and back through the other cable. It's important that that item's been earthed. So the yellow or yellow and green or yellow wire or green wire is always earth. And it's important to have your equipment earthed. I know that a lot of the switch mode power supplies that comes from China come with a little 2-pin plug. It's dangerous. It is double insulated inside, but if there's no earth, then your earth leakage does not function as it should. Like I say, all exposed metal surfaces should be earthed. Your main circuit breaker should be a double contact. In other words, your power plug at the wall is not sufficient to insulate the circuit. You need a double pole switch that switches the live and the neutral. Why they haven't made our power switches, even the new ones, of course, we've got now new plugs in South Africa, um, but yet still only switches the live wire off. I don't know why. They should actually make your wall switch that it switches both sides. But if you do an installation in your shack, make sure that you've got a double insulated switch. So when you switch that off, you know everything is off. You should have a single master switch. This, what I just said. so that when something goes wrong, you can switch it off, and you know everything else has been switched off. There's no electricity going into any of your devices. Um, right, then high voltages. Now, amateur radios that uses valves, tubes, has got very high voltages, 5,000 volts, 300 volts, 500 volts, all over the place. So be careful. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's sometimes better not to go in there. Same with a microwave. Microwave is extremely dangerous. There's 2,000 volts on the magnetron, and you go and calculate how many amps is there. If the um, microwave is a kilowatt, there's plenty at 2,000 volts. It's going to be a memorable moment for you. Um, yeah, they say some equipment uses 5 kilovolts. It's going to be a shocker. So, especially with tube type of equipment, you don't know, don't fiddle around in it. Rather get somebody to fix it that really knows. I mean, I won't even fiddle in that thing, and I work with these type of things every day. But I don't have enough experience with valves or tubes to work on those things. I will maybe just break it further. Other thing is that capacitors, high capacitors, high value capacitors, they store electricity in them for quite a long time, and it's important to use a resistor to discharge them. Now, we in the workshops, and I think whoever worked in an electronics workshop ever has done this. You charge up a high voltage capacitor and you throw it to your friend so they can catch it and you shock him. And I've done it and it's been done to me. So that's one of those things. But we're supposed to put a bleeder resistor on and then discharge the capacitor and then store them away safely. Then lightning, absolute nightmare. Unplug. You can use lightning arresters till you blue in the face. There is nothing that works 100% to prevent lightning from hitting your equipment. And there's a lot of radio amateurs that has cried because of the fact that they forgot their antennas plugged in and so on. We just see there's somebody that's going bing bing. Marty, are you on top of it? Right. Direct lightning strike is antenna is gone, coax is gone. That's big trouble. So if your equipment's unplugged, at least your radio will survive. And then you only have to replace antennas. Now, another thing is a lot of people like these collinear antennas. They're very good for reception, but they don't like lightning. So if you, like Peter, you right there on the hill there at the top, if you put up a 15-meter tower and you go and put a collinear antenna on top of that, it's not going to live long. Um, in that case, you rather use a folded dipole antenna. And then they've got a, I think they call it a flash panel, and they use it at the high sites. So what happens is your antenna coax comes from the antenna down the tower, and it goes into the flash panel. And the flash panel is basically a back-to-back PL259 or N-type or whichever type of plug they use with lightning arresters. And then the other side, you screw a wire into your radio or your repeater or whatever, so that it sort of keeps the lightning out, but it's not foolproof. So when you put a steel mast up, never put your antenna right at the top. Put it so that the tower sticks past, even if you've got just a rod going past, so that the rod gets the lightning and takes it down to earth so that it doesn't hit your antenna, because otherwise you've got coax and antennas and things to replace. Yeah, they say connections unplugged when station's not in use. Ground all feed lines at the base of the tower. It's important. That's where that flash panel comes in. You can also ground it at the flash panel, because in most cases the tower stands right by the building where the equipment sits in. So as the cable comes down, it goes into the flash panel, and the flash panel is grounded. The outside of the flash panel, the ground of the coax, is well grounded. Well, all structures, they've got, the SABS has got a lot of specifications when it comes to earthing. What a lot of people do is they actually would dig out a huge area. They put in rebar, those reinforcement squares that they use for when they cast concrete floors. They would put that under the ground, or obviously tie everything together, tie that to earth spikes, and then put the concrete on top of that. In order to get a huge area that is grounded. I mean, you can't ground something too good. You must. There's always room for improvement. Search arresters. That's those things that I spoke about. The flash panel, also called search arresters, on all antennas. It helps to, well, protect your equipment, but if you better, like I say, if you're not using it, unplug, unplug, unplug. I can't say it enough times. They feel the same. They also say unplug. Sound travels. Oh, that's the lightning count. So if it takes about 5 seconds, the lightning is about one and a half kilometer away. I've got a app on my phone that tells me when there's lightning coming, and that warns me if it's in a radius within 10 kilometers. Uh, 10 kilometers is already dangerous. So yeah, if just unplug, don't take a chance. Right, and then that is the now we must just do the questions. Where should the green wire in an AC power supply cord be attached? We know that it's on the chassis, on the exposed metal parts. So that is then C. Am I alone? Is there still people with us?
I thought we wanted
Oh
this
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
crypto time, so it must be B.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, now I'm glad you guys are all still with us there. What safety feature is provided by a bleeder resistor in a power supply? Okay, we know that the high capacity capacitors will be discharged. Here it says discharge the filter capacitors. Yeah, so bleed resistor is made to discharge capacitors. So if you see discharge and capacitors in the sentence, then that's the answer B. For safety in any radio installation, it is good practice to only use plastic piping for earthing. I don't think so. Used unearthed metal piping, definitely not. Unearth all metal cases, definitely not. Install a master safety switch known to all in the house. That makes sense. So that would be D. For safety reasons, all exposed metal work in an amateur station should be, I would, without thinking, it should be connected to earth. So that would be D. Left completely floating, I wish.
Floating neutrals. Worst electrician's worst nightmare to try and find that because
When wiring up equipment, any wire that's available will do. No.
C.
C, your insulated wire suitable for the voltages must be used. Okay, that's definitely C. Switches for breaking mains current should be double pole. That's C again. Live and neutral lead should be broken. So that's the master switch that you put in your shack. Double pole.
sit
When
ou
plugs-
kieselskakelaar in.
When plugs are used to connect transmitting equipment requiring high currents to the mains, no 2-pin. I mean, obviously that's logical. You'll use the best plug that they have there. The 15 amp 3-pin plug should be used. Okay. Radio frequencies are used in microwave ovens for cooking purposes. In a radio station, care must be taken. Okay, not A, definitely not. To ensure that you can't touch the RF points because you're gonna know it's there. Screen off all RF sources from facial and bodily contact. That would be it. I mean, you don't want to expose yourself to unnecessary RF. Right. High capacitors left on benches or other accessible places should be discharged and stored. Right, and that is then that for shoot.
You have
That's
time for the last chapter.
Of ons donderdag klaar.
Weet jy, ja, ek dink so. Kom ons gaan kyk gou-gou. Kom ons gaan klik
I mean, ons
daar.
kan letterlik dit
klik
vanaand nog
daar.
klaar maak.
Ja, maar ek wil by die program hou sodat diegene wat nie so begaafd is soos ons nie dit tyd het om dit te recycle en
Okay, ek kan seker maar die recording stop.
ja, laat ek hom stop.